Hi, this is Carrie Cassidy from Project Camelot, Whistleblower Radio, and today is Friday, and we have some very interesting guests with us today that I actually don't know all that much about, but I decided to have them on the show because one is Joseph Mara, and he's a family practitioner. He's an MD. And I'm actually going to let him introduce himself because I don't know that much about his background, other than he does have a radio show called Universal Talk, which is quite excellent. And I've been his guest a few times, I believe. I'm about to be his guest again soon. And Terry, I don't think I can pronounce your last name to save my life. So perhaps I hope you're both on the line with me and you can tell me how to pronounce your last name.
Ippoletti.
Okay. And Terry is a channeler, and that's actually all I know about her. And the show is going to be about channeling in general. And I've invited them on because Joseph has a particular interest in this. And we actually met in passing at Laughlin very briefly, and we've kept in touch since then. But I still don't know all that much about you, Joseph. So if you would go ahead and introduce yourself, and Terry also, and Terry's welcome to introduce herself, and let the listeners know who you are and something about yourselves.
Absolutely. Well, as you said, Carrie, my name's Joseph Mara. I'm a family nurse practitioner, and I'll have my doctorate as a DNP in December, so I have about 6 months to go. But I've been practicing in family medicine now since 2003. I opened an urgent care center in central Pennsylvania, and I do family medicine. I'm also a hypnotherapist and a Reiki master. And the way Terry and I met, I was going through my hypnotherapy courses, and she happened to walk through the door here at urgent care and asked me if I had any interest on hiring a hypnotherapist for smoking cessation or anxiety and depression. And quite frankly, I was wondering how I was going to see the patients for family medicine and do hypnotherapy at the same time. So it came at a good time as far as synchronicity goes. And I'll let Terry introduce herself.
Okay. I'm Terry Ippoletti, and I have a lot of subtitles, but I kind of like put it all into one as a holistic practitioner. I teach Tai Chi, past life regression. I'm also a hypnotherapist. I teach everything that I do. I specialize in Tai Chi and hypnosis, but I really like all the spiritual work more than just the smoking cessation or weight management, but they all have their place. I also do channeling, which all came in from all of these practices. I channel like a deep channeler. I really don't remember everything that I say. And Joe has been here to help me with kind of like that facilitator to bring everything out into the open. And then I do a lot of other things that I just don't remember what I do. Because I just put them all together and I make it work is what I do.
Okay. Hopefully they're good things on a positive side.
Always. Everything has to be an unconditional love.
Okay. Great. So the reason I invited you guys on was to talk about channeling, and because of your sort of background in the medical field, Joe, I thought that it would be valuable to give you, to have you sort of lend your expertise and your viewpoint from that angle, and then also just to obviously talk about the channeling itself and whatever information you guys are getting and so on and so forth. So why don't we start off with you, Joe, and talk about kind of how you got into this field, how you were open-minded enough to consider the idea of channeling, because most people, I think, a lot of people in the medical field, it's very conservative, as everyone knows. So you have to be something of an unusual guy in your field. And how does that happen with you? How do people react to you? What's your community reaction to you, and so on and so forth?
Well, you're right, Carrie. I'm anything but typical. That's funny you say that, because I just put that on Facebook the other day. But it started out basically, I think everybody has some type of spirituality within. And I've always been a spiritual person, but I was raised Roman Catholic, and approximately 10 years ago, I had what most people consider a near-death experience. And if you're not aware, there's two types, and I'll just briefly go through. One is the sudden impact. It kind of changes your DNA, and it takes about 10 years before it takes a total effect on the neural net of the body. And then the other one is the one that most people hear of, and that's where you go outside your body and you see these beings of light, and you travel down a tunnel or whatever. But that's really what totally changed my outlook on things. And the way this started here at my office was synchronistic. As I said, Terry came into the office to do some hypnotherapy, and we got to talking, and she was doing some automatic writing where she would just kind of put her head down and grab a pen, and all of a sudden she'd start writing, and it wasn't her writing. It was a totally different, you could actually see an obvious difference. And with her eyes closed, I was quite intrigued by, like, how is she doing this? And then she offered that, I actually can go into these spontaneous channels, but I don't know what I'm doing or what I'm saying. And I thought, wow, this would be a really neat tool if we could harness this and, see what comes out of it. And we began to work every day at lunchtime in between patients. And I think she had some comfort knowing that I was there in case anything would happen. And it raised her confidence level by us doing the work every day. And we went through a series of starting out with the, I guess you would call it the ethereal realm or the ghostly realm. And then we worked our way up and to what's considered the ET dimensions, I guess. And I guess that's fifth dimension and beyond. But, I mean, it sounds outlandish. I know if I was, where I was 5 years ago, I would be saying, like, oh my gosh, these people are crazy. But because, I was trained in science, and as you said, I mean, this is a little unorthodox for someone to bring this into their practice, but I saw it firsthand. And I thought to myself, wow, this is really going on out there. And I know there's some charlatans out there that you got to watch for, and people claiming they're doing things that they really can't do. But as a first-hand witness to this, I mean, it is just amazing what the human body, mind, body, spirit can do. So I don't know what avenue you want me to travel with after that intro.
Okay. Well, that's very interesting. But you didn't really talk about how your community and how you were perceived by, I don't know, the medical. You said you're just completing a doctorate. Surely you've gotten into discussions with some of your classmates and so on. How are you being received out there in terms of, or do you share who you are, and are they aware of your radio show and so on and so forth?
Well, my actual radio show, I started that back in October, and it's come across fairly well, I guess. And I did share this information with my classmates, and most of them are actually open to it. And I find that they're very spiritual, and they're telling me things like they are Reiki masters or hypnotherapists, and they haven't really come out and told anybody. So it's actually shocking to know that there are more people that are open to this now than ever before. As far as the community goes, I mean, because of where the location of the radio show is, it's not in my hometown. It's probably about 45 minutes away. And I don't really think that AM station reaches my hometown, but I still go on as, Joe Mara. And if anybody would question me, I would explain to them what I was into. And I had people on the show that basically asked the question, what if? And if somebody comes on in their channel